Good day there, people. So today I've got something pretty special for you. I'm going to show you how to craft the Ankh Shield, one of the most, well, if not the most powerful protective weapon in the game, which also in turn requires first crafting the Ankh Charm and the Obsidian Shield. So I'm going to show you how to do all of that, where to get all the stuff you need, how to put it all together. Because the Ankh Shield in all requires a total of 11 different items to put it together. It's one of the most difficult to put together, as well as one of the best and most important items. So I'm going to show you all that, where to get the items that you need, how to put them together. Also, while I'm mentioning it, you'll notice I've got a big upgrade in my equipment here. I will tell you about how to do that, or well, rather how I did that along the way to getting my ingredients for the Ankh Shield, and also how to farm some of those items I needed for the Ankh Shield, which happens to be how I happen to get some of the other stuff. So first of all, as I say, the Ankh Shield requires combining a total of 11 different items at the Tinkerer's Workshop. Only 4 of those components can be found before hard mode. So I'll show you how to do how to get those, which ones you can get. First of all, the 2 ingredients for the Obsidian Shield, which I already have, you can get pre-hard mode. I've had that in my equipment for a very long time here. That's one that you can get pre-hard mode. What you'll need is to go to the dungeon first of all and get the Cobalt Shield, which can be found in the gold dungeon chest, the locked chest, which of course you can open with the keys that you get from the dungeon slimes. Or if you can't find it in any of the chests, you can also go fishing in the dungeon, and that's another way of getting it in dungeon chests that, or sorry, dungeon crates that you can get by fishing in the dungeon. Then you need the obsidian skull, which is 20 obsidian. Of course, obsidian you find when you get in the underworld. You start seeing lava when you're deep enough, and where water meets lava, you get obsidian. You can also, dump some water on some lava to get obsidian. You take the obsidian skull, the cobalt shield, you combine them at the Tinkerer's Workshop, which is down here in my house, and you get that obsidian shield. So again, I've had that for a long time. Now, the other thing you'll need is the Ankh Charm, which requires 9 other items to be combined to get the Ankh Charm. So you'll need the trifold map and the fast clock to make the plan. I made that actually a while ago. I got those 2 items and combined them. So the trifold map you will get from clowns during blood moons. You can also get it from light mummies and giant bats. Light mummies will be in the Hallow Desert, and giant bats generally in the jungle. You can also get it from, if you're on mobile, I think specifically, you can get it from spectral mummies, which I think are in the Hallow as well. By the way, all of these items, the 9 items for the Ankh Charm, 8 of them have a 1 in 100 chance to be dropped from certain enemies, or 1 in 50 if you're in expert mode. So as I say, the trifold map from clowns, light mummies, giant bats, spectral mummies, 1 in 100 normally, or 1 in 50 if you're an expert. The other item is the fast clock, which you get from regular mummies, sand poachers, pixies, and wraiths. You'll find those again in different biomes. So I got those a long time ago. I got those along the way while I was playing through the game. And I combined the trifold map and the fast clock to get the plan. Did that at my Tinkerer's Workshop again. Now the next 2 items I did have to farm, and I'll get to how I did that. But vitamins you will get from corruptors and floaty grosses. Corruptors are in the corruption, of course, and floaty grosses are in the crimson. So depending whether you have corruption or crimson, you'll need to either fight the corruptors or the floaty grosses. You got a 1 in 100 or a 1 in 50 if you're an expert to get that. And then the armor polish you get from blue armored bones in the dungeon, or armored skeletons in the cavern layer underground. So again, I'll get to how I farmed those 2 items a little later, but you combine the vitamins and the armor polish to make armor bracing. Basically, you have 4 sets of 2 items. So there's 2 that go into the plan. There's these 2 that turn into the armor bracing. And then the next set is the spiked Nazar and the megaphone. So the Nazar is, again, one of those ones you can get before hard mode. You can get that from cursed skulls in the dungeon, cursed hammers, enchanted swords, and crimson axes. Basically, those are all in different biomes. So cursed hammers in the corruption, enchanted swords in the hallow, and crimson axes in the crimson if you're in a crimson world. So just different biomes. the cursed skulls are the only ones before hard mode, so you can get it in the dungeon before hard mode by fighting cursed skulls, which is, I believe, how I got it. But you can also get it later. There was other ways. The megaphone. Now this is an exception. The megaphone is the hardest one to get, I would say, because it has a lower drop rate. So it's only 1 in 200 enemies normally, or 1 in 100 if you're an expert, and it's from pixies, green jellyfish, and dark mummies. Not quite sure offhand where you find green jellyfish, but pixies are in the Hallow, dark mummies are in the corrupted desert. So you combine the Nazar and the megaphone together at the Tinkerer's Workshop here, and you get the Counter Curse Mantra. So I'm going to do that in a second. Now the last pair of items, because there's 9 in total, so there's 4 sets of 2, which is 8, and then the last one, which is just added to those once you've combined those pairs. So the last 2 that you're going to need to combine is the Bezoar, which is a green sort of blob rock looking thing that you get from hornets, moss hornets, and toxic sludges. Again, that's the 4th item that you can get before hard mode. You can get that from hornets in the underground jungle before hard mode. The other 2 are once you're in hard mode. And the adhesive bandage, which you can get from rusty armored bones in the dungeon. You can also get from werewolves during a full moon, and you can get that from anglerfish as well. So I think those are in the ocean. But anyway, you'll need to combine your Bezoar and your adhesive bandage into a medicated bandage. Again, I ran into those items along the way a long time ago, and I've already combined those 2 into my medicated bandage that you can see in my inventory. So basically, before I started farming, I had the plan, I had the medicated bandage, and I had a Nazar. I had to farm the other 4 items. The last one of the 9 is, sorry, the other 5. Yeah, other 4. Anyway, the last item is the blindfold. So the blindfold you get from corrupt slimes, slimelings, or dark mummies. You can find, of course, the corrupt slime and the slimelings in the corruption, and the dark mummies again in the corrupted or crimson desert. So you combine the 4 pairs. So you got the plan, the medicated bandage, and then I'm going to go here and combine the 2 other pairs over at my Tinkerer's Workshop. So again, armor polish and vitamins combine into the armor bracing. Megaphone and Nazar combine into the Counter Curse Mantra, and then those are the 4 items that were combined from pairs of previous items. You add the blindfold as a 5th item, and here you go, Ankh Charm, armor bracing, medicated bandage, the plan, Counter Curse Mantra, and blindfold. That's basically the combination of the 9 items. So just to reiterate, 9 items: trifold map, fast clock, vitamins, armor polish, Nazar, megaphone, Bezoar, adhesive bandage, and blindfold. You put those all together into your Ankh Charm. Then you take your Obsidian Shield, which you made previously. Told you about that at the beginning. And now you can combine the Obsidian Shield and the Ankh Charm into the Ankh Shield. That's how you do it. And that is one of the most powerful protective items in the game, one of the most complicated items to make in the game. And as you can see here, it gives you 4 defense on its own normally. It gives you immunity to knockback and fire blocks. Both of those are from the Obsidian Shield itself, and immunity to most debuffs. Because what it does is it combines the immunity to debuffs from all those 9 items from the Ankh Charm. Gives you all 9 of those, plus bonus one is if you're on PC 1.3 and probably coming soon to a lot of the console and mobile platforms when they get updated, they threw in a bonus immunity as far as the debuffs. So basically, when you go to all the trouble of making the Ankh Shield, you get the bonus immunity to the chilled debuff as well. So for now, it's 10. It's immunity to 10 different things, debuffs. If you're on console or mobile, or it's 11 if you're on PC 1.3. Again, that'll be probably coming to the other platforms soon. And in case you're wondering if that math didn't quite make sense to you, it's counting the immunity to fire blocks as one of the debuffs to make it 10 or 11. And as with most equipment, you can also reforge this. So I can go over here to my Goblin Tinkerer because you see I didn't get any additional bonuses on that. I can stick it in here and reforge it. As I went over in my reforging video, there's certain things you can get other bonuses. I'm thinking, yeah, I want more defense. Anyway, there's +2 defense. I can keep reforging it, and there's different categories and different amounts of bonuses. So in fact, I'll probably go through and reforge like all of these pieces of equipment. Go check out my reforging video if you want more information on that. I did that just 2 or 3 weeks ago. But for now, I'm going to show you how I farmed the items that I didn't already have. So basically, it happened that I needed 4 more items, and those were the ones that I would consider most difficult to get, or some of the most difficult to get. The vitamins and the armor polish were a couple, as well as the megaphone. As I say, that's probably the most difficult to get of the bunch because it's got a lower drop rate. I happen to have a corrupted desert over here, so what I did is I basically created this almost little mini arena. And I'm going to tell you about how I got all this equipment in a second, but yeah, I just put this mount. It's the Skutlix mount, which I got from the Martian invasion. Again, my Martian invasion video, I did get that one during that. I just got a whole bunch of additional stuff because I ended up going through the Martian invasion again since I made that video, even that was last week. But I'll tell you more about that in a second. But basically what I did is just flattened out this area in the there was like a couple little pools of water here, so I just flattened it out to make it easier. And I put this little platform above the ground, and I equipped this mount that happens to automatically fire lasers. There you go, I'm getting more banners. So this is kind of a hint of how many guys I had to kill to get these last few items, because I literally made this platform, and as I got banners, I started sticking them, and underneath this platform, and I had to expand the platform to fit all the banners. But basically I sat here, and it's more or less AFK. I've got my UFO summon here, and I just basically sat here and waited for enough guys to die that I got those items. So again, the vitamins I got from the corruptors, the armor polish, I had to go separately down to the dungeon. I found a nice quiet corner down there. There was like a corner with a door, so then there was like no ceiling and no back wall, or I mean there was no opening behind that door. So basically I was able to sit in a corner where they couldn't come from above, they couldn't come from behind, they couldn't come from below. There was a passage just in front where they could fall down, and then there was a passage directly in front, so there was 2 different directions they could come from, and I just had to sit in the corner, and you know, I did have to shoot at them in the dungeon because the dungeon's a little harder than all this. But yeah, this is how I farmed like 3 of those items, and I got the other one from the dungeon, and most of those items happen to be available from here. See, there you go, I got another blindfold as well. So basically just by sitting here I can get quite a bit of stuff, and I don't really have to do a lot because I've got a good minion. So as for how I got all this awesome equipment, if you may or may not have watched my Martian Madness invasion event last week, so that was just a random occurrence, but it just so happened that as I was coming here and setting this all up so that I could farm the last few items for the Ankh Charm, and thus the Ankh Shield, I was literally sitting on a smaller version of this platform, and a second probe came down and saw me and started an additional Martian Madness event. So I ended up going through, and I'm just going to warp back to my house here to show you. I sat there for a little while, you know, farming some additional stuff, because the event doesn't actually begin until you get back to your NPC housing. And then I came here, and luckily I had happened to already craft a bunch more chlorophyte bullets. So I was able to sit, if you look at, again, my Martian Madness video, towards the end of that, I had figured it out that I could kind of sit in this area and not get hurt too bad, and reasonably get that. But with the chlorophyte bullets, which I had run out of by the end of that video, I was able to sit just like right in this doorway and just aim through this opening. And I did keep doing the other stuff that I was doing in that video, and I had some other stuff going on up here, but I was able to just shoot through the gap, and I killed a lot of Martian saucers. And from doing that, I got all of the good equipment that you can get from killing the Martian saucers, which is a lot. So I've got an influx waver now, I've got a Xeno popper, I've got an electrosphere launcher, a charged blaster cannon. I already had the laser drill. I also got the Xeno staff, so that's where I got my UFO minion, which is amazing and cool as well. So basically, I got a lot of awesome stuff, and it was actually before that, in between, I think the last video and this one, or maybe even before that, I got a butcher's chainsaw from a solar eclipse as well, and I just recently found a rainbow gun. I'm trying to remember how I got that, but some of you will probably know. I got that somewhere along the way. Anyway, oh yeah, because I unlocked again. I was down farming in the dungeon as well. So while I was farming in the dungeon, I had picked up a couple of Hallow keys. So I unlocked the Hallow crate in the dungeon, and that's where I got my rainbow gun. So I've geared up quite a lot, and the point of all this, the point of crafting the Ankh Shield, as well as getting all this equipment, is I'm gearing up for the late game, end game stuff. So I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm pretty well geared up, and yeah, that's how I did it. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you want to see. I am going to be doing some more of the, as I say, end game boss fights and events, the late game stuff, and I'm pretty well ready to go. I even got like some outfit stuff just to look cool while I was at it. I got a SWAT helmet, again in the dungeon while I was farming. So I got a lot of stuff along the way, and I'm feeling pretty confident, pretty prepared. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Bye for now, and I will see you next time.